Cleanliness begins at home. One of the first signs of a well managed place, whether it is a restaurant, hotel, airport, office, or train station, is its level of cleanliness. If the place isn't clean, it is unlikely to impress anyone. The same applies to an entire country. Indians who travel abroad are often awestruck by cleanliness levels in the developed world. Therefore, if we want our country to realize its full potential in the world, we have to make it clean. A land of filth, no matter how talented its people and how wonderful its natural resources, will never earn the respect it deserves. Or perhaps this is the reason why the Prime Minister has taken on the Swachh Bharat mission with such gusto. Not only he, but several other influencers and prominent people have lent a hand to the cause, often holding a broom along with it. However, while the broom in hand does make for a compelling photo op and is well intentioned, it will take a lot more to clean India. If we are really serious about this, let us first figure out why we are dirty in the first place and what it would take to have a cleaner India. We are not dirty people. Indians keep their homes scrupulously clean. In many parts of India, people do not wear shoes inside the house to keep the interiors clean. So, some of our religious places are kept clean, though they are exceptions. Don't even get me started on Varanasi and Mathura. Diwali, our biggest festival, is the time for spring cleaning. Indians are meticulous about taking a shower daily, which may not be as common in the West. So, why is our country dirty? Why is it that when we step out of our homes, we find the roadside littered? Is it the municipal corporation that isn't doing its job? Is it the local policeman who should ensure things are kept clean? Do we not have enough dustbins? None of this fully explains why India is unclean. The reason is that we make it dirty in the first place. And if we really want to be a clean country, we need to take steps to ensure we minimize filth in the first place, rather than hope someone will pick up a broom and clean it. Developed countries in Western Europe and North America do not have local authorities sweeping the streets all the time. They have systems in place, and the local population cooperates to not create filth in the first place. We, on the other hand, look at our country differently from our homes. Inside our houses, we want things to be spick and span. Outside the entrance door, it doesn't matter. It isn't mine. It's dirty anyway. And how does it matter if I dump some more litter on the streets? With this mentality, you can have an army of municipal corporation workers working 24/7, 100 celebrities sweeping the streets, the PM making a dozen speeches. I assure you, India will not become clean. The only way it can and will become clean is if we minimize and prevent the creation of filth in the first place. And the only way that will happen is when all of us together think, what is outside my home is also mine. This sense of community recognition of a greater good and collective ownership is the only way for the situation to change. Else we risk this cleanliness drive become another social fad that will be forgotten when the novelty wears off. Of course, infrastructural improvements such as new treatment plants for solid sewage, industrial and agricultural waste are required. New sets of indices, whether they may be measures of cleanliness or density of dustbin distribution, too are needed. Laws and fines have their place as well. All that is needed the government's job and it will be judged on it. However, all this will come to naught if we Indians don't change our mentality about what is my space and what isn't. The country is yours. You obviously can't clean all of it. but you can be aware of it, at least a little bit of area around you. If every Indian has a concept of my 10 meters or a sense of ownership about a 10-meter radius around him or her, magic can happen. 10 meters is just 30 feet round you. Given the number of people we have, we can achieve a lot if we all get together. So it should not just be my home should be clean, and but my home and the surrounding 10 meters should be clean. Whenever there is collective sense of ownership, we have higher cleanliness levels. It is for this reason that most college campuses are cleaner than the city outside, despite housing thousands of youngsters inside. So get out there, scan your 10 meters. Can you prove anything? A Swachh Bharat is indeed possible. The first step is Swachh Manasikata or clean mindsets. Are you game? In the interest of full disclosure, Prakash Javadekar, Union Minister for Information and Broadcasting, as well as for Environment and Forests, nominated me to help with the Swachh Bharat campaign. This piece is one of the contributions towards the campaign. Opinions expressed, however, are independent and personal. India has often faced with situations where its paramount democratic institutions have clashed. One such ruining was the struggle for power between the judiciary and the legislature, which reached its boiling point in mid 1970s. In the backdrop of a struggle for constitutional supremacy, the Supreme Court delivered what is arguably the most monumental decision in its history on 24th April 1973. Kesavananda Bharati versus State of Kerala. Kesavananda is a state unique in the history of international constitutional law. For several reasons, the anxious political circumstances in which it was delivered, the shift in the balance of democratic power it caused, the unprecedented number of separate opinions delivered by the court, as well as the sheer length of the judgment itself. For case Kesavananda, the Supreme Court sat in judgment for the longest amount of time since its inception, almost for 5 months, to determine issues pivotal to the interaction between and powers of the three conventional benches of government. The judgment, which spans nearly 800 pages, is about 4,20,000 words long, has been named the longest appellate decision of the last century. Apart from its exceptional length, Kesavananda was significant in that the Supreme Court ascribed itself the functions of preserving the integrity of Indian Constitution. The basic structure doctrine formulated by the court represented the pinnacle of judicial creativity and set a benchmark for other constitutional courts around the world, particularly in South Asia. An analysis of Kesavananda is incomplete without a brief discussion of the cases which led up to Supreme Court's judgment in 1973. A conservative Supreme Court, Shankari Prasad and Sajjan Singh. The struggle for the custody of the Constitution arose from questions concerning the right to property, which until 1978 was a fundamental right under Article 31. Soon after the Constitution entered into force, agrarian land reform legislation was enacted in Bihar, Uttar Pradesh and Madhya Pradesh. Zamindars, thus deprived of a significant portion of their land holdings, filed petitions in different high courts alleging that their fundamental right has been infringed. When the Bihar Land Reforms Act 1950 was invalidated by the Patna High Court in 1951, the Constituent Assembly, functioning then as the Provisional Parliament, passed the Constitution for First Amendment Act 1951. This amendment inserted two provisions in the Constitution to insulate land reform legislation from judicial scrutiny. One of these provisions, Article 31B, created the ninth schedule to the Constitution, which became the subject of sustained judicial examination in several cases discussed later. In any laws inserted through constitutional amendments into the ninth schedule could not be challenged for being inconsistent with fundamental rights. Zamindas then challenged the amendment itself in Shankari Prasad versus Union of India, Shankari Prasad bracketing. One of the several grounds of challenge was that the expression law under Article 13.2, which prohibits the Parliament from making any laws that abridge or take away fundamental rights, included not only ordinary laws but also amendments. If the court accepted this contention, it would have applied that Part 3 of the Constitution, which deals with fundamental rights, could never be amended by the Parliament so as to take away or abridge for fundamental rights. However, a five-bench judge of the Supreme Court unanimously rejected this argument, asserting that the constitutional scheme provided for a clear demarcation between ordinary law, which is made in exercise of legislative power, and constitutional law, which is made in exercise of constituent power. The net effect of Supreme Court's decision in Shankari Prasad was that the amendments to the Constitution could not be reviewed by courts. In Sajjan Singh versus State of Rajasthan, Sajjan Singh, the validity